Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Pattsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/cheating stories, where we see what will happen to men if they marry a party girl. Let's begin. I feel so humiliated by my wife's sexual affair with a very fit man. Posted by Reddit user Pure Internet.
43 male and female, with 17-year daughter and junior here in high school. She and I have been together 22 years, married 19. She told me the whole story, she's shown me the chats, I've seen the fucking videos they made. She and I are both bigger people, me being 5 feet 8 and 180 pounds, her being 5 feet 4 and 160 pounds.
Good Lord, how is he so fat?
She's extremely curvy, so she gets a fair bit of attention from certain niches. I've never been blind to that. She apparently saw a comment of the guy's on some post on Instagram, which was disagreeing with the context of the post. My wife agreed with him and messaged the guy saying it was great to see an opinion in the other direction. Then, she tells the guy that she'd never imagined a guy who looked like him to be so astute regarding matters. They talked back and forth for a bit. She said that he'd never look at a woman like her. He replied saying that he adored bigger women. About 2 days later, she messaged him again saying some shit. They talked for a bit, then she jokingly, I presume, says that no way a guy would put in so much effort into their body if they didn't have small dick energy. They talked. She asked him to send proof showing otherwise, which he did. She replies with shocked praise about how big he is and how she wants to rock climb his abs. Nothing after that for a week. She texts him again after a week, then they sext. The next evening, she messages him saying that if she can meet in the next few days, the next few days being me flying with my daughter to West Virginia to my parents. She says that the guy basically stayed over at our place and they had sex in our fucking house and bed. After that, the chats are basically a bunch of hookup time deciding. Literally zero conversation, no bonding, nothing. She didn't even bother to develop a proper emotional connection or fall in love before trashing out marriage. I'm just so fucking pissed. As to how I found out is another fucking story. This guy apparently propositioned a threesome with another really hot guy, literally her words, which she happily took up. After partaking in it 3 times, she finds out the bloody guy is 20 and in college. This brought her to senses because she felt like a pedo when she realized the other guy she was fucking was basically as old as our daughter. Main guy is late 20s. Back in 2009, she was caught cheating because she rubbed up this guy from our old apartment complex when drunk, and the kid, who was also 20, told me what she did, which led us to moving to restart the marriage. Well, after being brought to her senses, she comes clean to me and says we should work on our marriage and that we've gone through too much to give up on our silver anniversary. What a bunch of bullshit. Man, I am heartbroken and all, but this also so fucking humiliating. Seeing through the chats, it's plainly visible that the guy did pretty much no initiation or seduction. It was all my wife trying to get into his pants. That makes me feel like shit because in our relationship, consistency of sex has never been there, albeit I have had a low libido for the past decade. It's embarrassing as shit to be in my 40s and have insecurities. Obviously, the size of his penis makes me feel like shit, but his body and build genuinely breaks me down. Like, I literally cannot look like that. These people have been in the fitness business for years. I saw the sex videos and I cannot move like that in those positions. I have built an outstanding career. I have raised a ridiculously wonderful and super smart young woman. But this alone kind of tears apart anything I have done in my life, even though it makes no sense. I am unable to feel like a man. I'd have hoped that a bigger woman would not be so unhappy with a chubby guy, but even she likes these Marvel hero characters. What can we even do to be truly wanted? Like some receptionist at a hotel can do such insane things with into your wife, and I am just some guy, even though I have basically sold my soul these last 2 decades and more. I'm not divorcing her now. My daughter only has a little over a year in high school. I want to see her go to college, then the thought of divorce comes.
Well, OP, you chose to take her back when she cheated the first time, and even now, you're still thinking about taking her back. Stop using your daughter as an excuse. You're just weak. If you really are humiliated, then go to the gym instead of sitting on your fat ass and feeling sorry for yourself. Divorce her and show your daughter what an upstanding parent would look like. Unfortunately, I have zero faith that you will actually do this. You don't have the balls. And now for today's second story. Why should I believe my wife instead of someone with nothing to gain? Posted by Reddit user Open Driver's Door.
We have been married for almost 14 years, and for the last 3 I have carried quite a burden. Someone told a friend of ours my wife cheated, and I have chosen to try my best to believe my wife instead of the source, but the damage may be done. Long version for those that may be able to relate. It may not be a factor, but prior to dating me, my wife was a promiscuous party girl. She admitted to not always being faithful to her boyfriends, but she was also 19 when we met. I've always felt like she is just playing house with me and our 3 kids. There's been various points in our relationship where she would go out more and come home hammered, or in a couple cases be brought home by her friends in terrible shape. They never went to clubs, but restaurant and bars. I always knew the people she would be with, but more often than not there would always seem to be friends of friends joining them. To my knowledge, these were always other girls, but that's the only part of the story I would get. During one of these periods, she was hanging out a lot with one of our mutual couple's friends. She is closer to the wife than I am to the husband's, but I like the husband and consider him a friend. The husband would usually be with my wife and it's not always. It's worth mentioning these long nights would usually be I'm gonna meet female friends name here on my way home for drinks. I knew that was code for I'll be home at 11 or midnight, drunk. This couple was getting married in the fall and my wife was going on a bachelorette trip about 3 hours away. There were about 6 girls and the groom's mom. The mom hung with them until it got late each night, but she would go back to her hotel when it got late. I made my concerns known and addressed the fact that she usually overdoes it, and being out of town makes me nervous. I played the drinking card instead of, oh, you're going to cheat. Now I'll speed up. They went on the trip, and she came back tired as expected, but everything seemed fine. They all did a pole dancing class, had dinner out, and went dancing at a popular tourist trap dance club. The wedding day came, and I was still annoyed with her heavy and constant drinking. At the reception, I couldn't help but notice one of the girls looking at me in a strange way. It's like she was sad for me or something, sort of the way someone would look at you at a loved one's funeral. I thought it was weird, but she's only 18, groom's much younger sister-in-law, and I'm just kind of an old guy at the appetizer table. I'm really trying to speed up now. Fast forward about 3 months. So the girl that was looking at me all pitiful at the party tells her husband, the groom's brother, what really went down on their trip. The groom called me. He tells me the girl started hanging out with a bunch of random guys in town at a bachelor party. They were at the same dance club, and they all partied and danced at the club. Then the bachelorette party got in the guy's limo and went to a strip club. The younger girls all had fake IDs and one knew someone there. Apparently, my wife spent most of the time with one party goer in particular. Our friend, the bride, stayed close with the bachelor from the other party. The other girls paired off with the remaining bachelor party guys. My friend, the groom, was freaking out because he did his best to have a mellow bachelor party as to not worry his fiancée, and then she goes all out wild. After he calmed down, I asked if he knew if my wife had done anything worse than lying. He sent a text back saying she got fingered by a guy at the strip club. My heart sank. I knew at that moment I really loved my wife, and only someone I loved that much could hurt me that bad. The bride calls my wife to say the groom knows, and the word is out. My wife calls me soon after and confesses to going to a strip club. I shocked her a bit when I told her I knew about the strip club and riding with the bachelor party. I asked her about the physical cheating, and she denied it and said that was ridiculous. She later admitted that she danced very inappropriately with this guy, inappropriate within the expectations of our marriage. He rubbed on her legs, ass and hips. She sat in his lap in the limo and at the strip club. She said he asked if he could kiss her and she said no. She still strongly denies the fingering piece. Apparently, when it got really late, she and the bride decided it was time to go. They left and called an Uber to go back to the hotel. The bride called the bachelor to make sure their friends made it out, but that's supposed to be all. The other girls Ubered separately. I can see it in my head because my wife has done this to me. She'll get drunk in a strip club or dance club and start giving me a lap dance, and almost every time she's facing me and dancing, I slide my hand up her dress and rub her or finger her. Since then, we have not hung out with that group. The husband has called me here and there. It's mostly about kids, but the conversation always turns to the wives, how are we, and if I've heard anything else. The bachelorette says she doesn't know for sure if my wife did kiss the guy or get fingered, but if my wife says no, the bachelorette says to believe her. Why would the sister-in-law lie? That makes no sense to me. I've had a couple buddies say maybe she saw from a distance and assumed. Maybe she secretly hates my wife, or maybe she's dishing dirt, try or not, to get extra attention. My wife says that girl was so drunk she could hardly stand up and she's just talking shit. I also wonder why my wife never wanted to confront the sister-in-law. The two families literally cut ties instantly and haven't hung out since. This isn't the first time my wife has all of a sudden stopped hanging out with a friend like this. I believe the friends' husbands don't like her. My wife is pretty, super likable, and fun. This has to be because when they're drunk and out, she acts different. Something tells me they don't trust their wife with mine because my wife is wild and cheats. No confirmation of that either. From the moment the bombshell was dropped, what little trust I had been shot to hell. She has only had one late drunk night episode since, but driving drunk and smashing a curb out an end to that night before it went too late. Am I being a chump? Do I look like an idiot to everyone? I know divorce means I destroy the life I have with my kids. I see them every day and they are everything to me, but I know the world as we know it and they know it will never be the same if I ask for a divorce in order to relieve myself of the burden. Divorce would also be to save a little pride. I know if she left me, I'd feel even more like a simp. TLDR, friend of a friend said my wife cheated on a girl's trip. She says she didn't behave as she should but there was no physical cheating. I don't believe her and it's killing me. 41 male and 35 female, married with kids.
OP, from the very moment you started a relationship with her, you became a simp. She's a party girl. She drinks and drives, has a body count in the 3 digits, and a confirmed cheater. Now you're still wondering if she cheated on you? Are you stupid? OP, your wife sounds like a walking red flag, and you still married her. Even now, you're still tolerating her bullshit. I even doubt that the kids are even yours. So good luck with that. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.